Is this the start of the new Avantis pump? That's what we have to talk about today. We're going to get straight into it, and we're only going to go over technical analysis. This is going to be purely technical, so there could be contradictions because I'm going to go over all of the time frames here. Anyways, remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice, but let's get straight into it. So, first thing is first, let's look at what Avantis is doing as in numbers. We are up 3.4% in the last 24 hours. We are up 10% in the last 7 days and 268% in the last 14 days. So Avantis is doing pretty decent with all of the time frames there. And you can also see in the last 24-hour trading volume, we have $820 million inside of that 24-hour trading volume. And that is twice as large as our market cap, quite literally, as our market cap is at 410 million. Multiply that by 2, and then that it has your 24-hour trading volume. But let's be purely technical here and talk about this. So first of all, we have the 2-hour chart. That's what we're going to go over first. Anything over the 2-hour, there's just not enough information because Avantis is a little bit too new for that. If we were purely looking at the 4-hour chart and just looking at our MACD, we can see that the buyers are starting to step in, and that is why we see the lightly red shaded candlesticks here on the MACD for the 4-hour chart. We also see that the MACD is about to curve upwards as well and cross and go to the upside, and that is a bullish signal right there. So 4-hour chart is looking bullish. Then we have this 2-hour chart, and notice that we're bouncing off the $1.50 support here. How did we get the support? Well, it was resistance before, and it was also support here. So we're just going to use that as support. And I was mentioning in a lot of previous videos that $1.50 could be retested. That's exactly what we're doing. We're doing that retest currently right now. So right now, the next thing we have to look at is the MACD on the 2-hour chart. So on the 2-hour chart, you see that there is a lot of buying pressure for the MACD. You can also see that the MACD has already crossed on the 2-hour chart, almost similar of what it's about to do on the 4-hour chart. This kind of gives you a hint of what happens when it crosses on the 4-hour chart. So anyways, we are seeing the current uptrend of the MACD, and if this continues to go upwards, then we should continue to see the price of Avantis increase as well. And then you can see the percent R trend exhaustion on the 2-hour chart shows the short-term trend being the white line increasing simultaneously with the blue line, which is the long-term trend. So we're seeing both of them increasing at the same time. But what scares me just a little bit is what if we cross here and then it decides, oh, it wants to dump and go down even lower. It does that sometimes on the percent R trend exhaustion. So you have to be cautious and wary of that. But as of right now, it is in a bullish pattern. It's going up currently, but hopefully it doesn't cross and continue to go down. That is a risk. If that happens, then we are looking for $1.30 as the next support. But one thing that says that we might not see that is because the MACD is looking bullish on the 2-hour chart. So we could also still see more selling. So you do want to be careful there. But according to the MACD on the 2-hour chart, we're bullish. But according to the percent R trend exhaustion, we do run the risk of having a possible reversal if this crosses and turns downwards. So we have to be wary of that as well. So then let's now look at our 1-hour chart. So on the 1-hour chart, we have seen that we are oversold on Avantis. This is overselling right here. And then you kind of seen the revival of it coming with more buying pressure. And then you see a little bit of selling. And now what are you seeing? You're seeing more buying pressure coming in. So that could lead the MACD to go up higher. So that's why I also think that we're bullish because as you can see here, the selling is waning down. The selling is slowing down a lot. And now the buying is about to come into play. So that is what I'm looking at currently. So the only problem that we could run into is if this again crosses and then turns down from here. But typically in a pattern like this, you typically see it coming back up. So that is what I'm seeing here for Avantis. I think Avantis is also bullish on the hourly chart. And then when I look over here, you see the short-term trend is curving upwards along with the long-term trend on the percent R trend exhaustion. So this is another bullish signal. But remember, it can stay oversold for a long time. This right here is overselling, and this is the percent R trend exhaustion being over exhausted to the downside. But notice how we are still down, even though we hit that area here. Technically, we should have been taken off, but we haven't. So remember that we can stay oversold for longer than expected. Now on the 30-minute chart with Avantis, we can see over here it looks like it's pretty bullish as well with the not percent R trend exhaustion. This is the MACD, but on the MACD with the Avantis, you're seeing the buying pressure is coming in. So that is pretty bullish. And then the percent R trend exhaustion has done the reversal on the 30-minute chart as well. You can see the short-term trend increasing tremendously as well as the long-term trend. So it's looking pretty bullish again here on the 30-minute chart, but getting close to being overbought almost. And then you could look at the 15-minute chart. The 15-minute chart is showing on the short term, we are pretty much overbought. So this is the 15-minute chart. You can see that the long-term trend is coming up here, trying to meet the short-term trend. The short-term trend over exhausted, over bought to the upside here on the percent R trend exhaustion. And then you can also see that the MACD is showing that buying pressure is coming in, and we have a lot of buying pressure for the 15-minute chart. And then when we get super short term, which really doesn't matter, we're completely overbought and over exhausted on the short term for the 15-minute chart or the 5-minute chart. So this is why I like using the 5-minute for short-term trading. Like if I were to short-term trade this, this is the perfect setup right here. Very bullish, very bullish. But you can kind of look at this and get a feel of what's happening in the other charts. So we actually might be bullish here in the other charts for the long term. So it's good. But you can see how it's overbought, over exhausted to the upside with a percent R trend exhaustion. Now it might send a signal showing that it's going to go down. Remember, it can stay overbought for a long time. So it could stay sideways for pretty long, just kind of like it stayed sideways down here. But it didn't stay sideways on the downside for too long. It did back here though. It stayed down for a very long time. So if you look at that, that's all of this. So as all of this was selling, it stayed on the bottom of the percent R trend exhaustion, indicating that we had a over exhausted selling, like overselling pretty much. But it kept overselling, it kept selling. It can stay oversold for a while, just like it can stay overbought for a while. So there's a possibility that we could be overbought, right? But anyways, what we're seeing here is a textbook play. That would have been nice. Anyone who got in at $1.50 wrote this up to $1.62, got out. Anyone doing those short-term trades made a lot of money. That's why I like the percent R trend exhaustion. But overall, the most important chart is the longest chart, and that is the 2-hour chart. That's the longest one that shows that we have, all this buying pressure, as well as looking at the 4-hour chart. We can also see the MACD is showing that we are oversold and that buyers are starting to step in. When you see the lightly red shaded candlesticks, that just means buyers are stepping in. And look at how it's curving upwards. So I think the most important charts are here are the 4-hour chart and the 2-hour chart. And both of them are kind of looking bullish. The 2-hour chart, again, bullish, looking like we have some good buying pressure coming in. And then same thing with the 4-hour chart. So I think we are in a good space here with Avantis, but we do still run the risk of a short-term pullback to $1.30. So yeah, this is pretty much all I have for you all today. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. Definitely do your own research, and don't put more than what you're willing to lose in. But anyways, hit the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. Leave a comment in the comment section and let me know what you guys want me to go over next. And as always, I'll be back with another video.